Assalamu alaikum. Alright guys, so today's gonna be a very exciting video. I'm gonna get into some really good facts about Hajj 2024 and it'll be like a one-on-one type of video. So basically, मेरा मकसद है for anybody who's going to be going for Hajj 2024 to get some quick tips and how-tos so that inshallah your Hajj journey for 2024 is as smooth as possible. So as you guys know, I went for Hajj in 2023 last year, and this was the first year for Nusuk Hajj, like how it got launched, right? So there's a lot of hiccups and things like that. But alhamdulillah, you know, I made it through and I was able to complete my Hajj journey as intended. Alhamdulillah. I was with Al Raji group. Now this is their second year, right? The registration process was a little bit hiccupy. There were some issues, but alhamdulillah, let's see how the process will be. I'm still trying my hardest to see if some way, somehow I can get to Saudi Arabia during Hajj time. Now, there are blackout dates and things like that. I believe May 23rd or May 25th is the last day that you can enter on, I believe, a tourist visa in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for like going to Jeddah or to Madina. So it's something around there. I don't know the specific dates, but there's some sort of blackout dates, right? But I do intend, if I can get there before that blackout date, there's ways that you can still get to Makkah and you can be in the vicinity of Masjid al-Haram so you can see what's going on, you know? Because I really would like to spend Eid, if possible, in Makkah. But you know, life is so crazy, it's a little bit tough sometimes. Sometimes you make plans and they don't work out. So anyways, I'm gonna head to my office now and I'm gonna just try to explain a few things as soon as I get there regarding Hajj 2024, helpful things. But before I do that, I don't like to reveal too much about myself, but I'm a coffee addict. So I'm going to Dunkin', I'm gonna grab some coffee and then head to the office. So honestly, I like to do shortcuts. So I just order my coffee on the Dunkin' app. I always get a frozen coffee and then I just go to pick it up. So I'm almost there. Like my personal favorite is just a frozen French vanilla or an iced French vanilla. That's what I usually go for. But let me know in the comment section below. And no Starbucks. Boycott Starbucks.
Hi, how can I help you today?
Hey, how you doing? I have a mobile order.
For Harris?
Yep.
Okay, you can go for it.
Thanks so much.
Yes, sir.
It's like literally recognize me because I come here every day. But I'm called Harris here in America, but my name is Haris. Okay, coffee done. All right, I'm super stoked because I can't function without coffee. So abhi main office ki taraf jata hu, theek hai? And inshallah I'll see you guys there. Just got to the office and guess who's here? Bhaijan, ki haal hai tusi? What's up, brother? How you doing? Wa alaikum assalam. He's like, guess surprise. How you doing, bro?
Alhamdulillah, आप सुनाओ भाई.
हमारा तो चलता रहता है.
सारा दिन भाई काम.
So him being here, just want to let you guys know special surprise is coming inshallah very, very soon. But let's get started on what I was talking about.
The next day.
Alright guys, so simply put, मैं actually मेरे दोस्त के साथ hang out करने के लिए चला गया and I ended up not recording the video. So here I am the very next day. So anyways, the reason for this video, again, as I mentioned before, just kind of give you some quick tips and useful advice for Hajj if you're going for Hajj, inshallah. So I kind of want to start off just from the beginning of the journey and, you know, take you all the way to the end. And this is only talking about the Hajj process, not anything else, not the process for like leaving Saudi, things like that. That's kind of, you know, something that you will figure out on your own while you're there, you know, depending on when you leave. But with most packages, as soon as you get to Saudi, usually you're going to arrive in Jeddah and go straight to Makkah. And once you get straight to Makkah, you're going to actually check into your hotel, whichever hotel you're assigned to with your Nusuk Hajj package. You've probably already gone into Ihram. You should have at least prior to reaching Jeddah. So as soon as you check into your hotel, you're going to drop all your luggage and everything. And without resting, without, you know, putting on any sort of scents or, you know, perfumes, anything like that, freshening up or anything, you're going to head straight to Haram to perform Umrah. Now, I've actually made a very detailed step-by-step how to do Hajj guide. And I did this after performing Hajj last year in 2023. So if you want to view that and get full synopsis and full details, make sure to click the video in the top right corner. And also, one thing I want to mention before I proceed further is most of हमारे जो भाई बहन जो हैं watching my videos are not subscribed to my channel, and I'd like to reach potentially a greater audience so that it can help out more brothers and sisters throughout the world. So please make sure to subscribe to my channel, click the bell icon, like this video, share it with your friends and family. Anybody who's going for Hajj, you know, share it with them. It'll be sadaqah jariyah for you and for me as well. And it'll just be super helpful, you know. Who knows, even one piece of advice from this video, if it helps them, you get the good deeds for it, and so do I, alhamdulillah. So anyways, getting right back into it. So you're going to perform your very first Umrah. And if you need any help with performing Umrah, you need any advice, I have a couple of Umrah vlogs that I've put up that are very detailed as well. You can see them in the top right corner as well. And once you perform your Umrah and you get, if you're a male, you get your head shaven or clipped. You can do trimming of all the areas on your head. Funny enough, so as soon as you finish Sa'i, which is the final step of Umrah, and you're exiting Masjidil Haram, going towards your hotel, you're going to notice there's going to be little kids with like little scissors, and Wolog actually will come up to you and they'll try to trim your hair for you, and you give them like 5 or 10 riyals. So if you don't prefer going to the barber shop and you don't want to really get your head shaven, by the way, if you do get your head shaven, it's 3 times the blessings. And if you just get your hair trimmed, it's 1 times the blessings. So it's better to, go opt in for shaving your head. But if you can't, if you have some personal reasons, whatever the case is, you can opt to just trim your hair. And those little kids will actually do it for you. And you can just, you can tip them whatever you want, But anyways, you're going to get back into your hotel, probably do a little bit of rest. And then and depending on how soon you get there, usually about 4 days prior to Eid al-Adha, Yom al-Nahar, you're going to head to Mina. So you might be there like a week before. So you're going to have 2 to 3 days just to rest in Makkah, catch up with your prayers. Each prayer in Makkah is equivalent to 100,000 prayers. Alhamdulillah. So make sure you attend as many prayers as you can. If you're staying in Clock Tower, there is a musalla that's by the Clock Tower Museum exhibit. It's on the same floor as that. So you can go there and you can actually get a good view of Haram and everything from there too. But it's better if you can just go a little bit earlier, half an hour earlier, 45 minutes earlier prior to any salah, and just get into Masjidil Haram. Because once you pray in Masjidil Haram, that's where you get the 100,000 prayer reward. So I would definitely urge you, go early and go to Masjidil Haram to do your prayers. I'm sure all of us have some sort of du'as that you really have been asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for, and you want them to get accepted. So as soon as you're doing your Umrah and you lay your eyes upon the Kaaba Sharif, you make that du'a that's in your heart, the du'a that's deep down in your heart, because that du'a will inshallah get accepted if your intentions are correct. That's just a side note, something to keep in mind. So after your few days in Makkah, you might have a package which is called a shifting package, which goes to Azizia. So, 2 to 3 days before you're supposed to head to Mina, you'll be shifted to Azizia. And if you are shifted to Azizia, it's going to be a little bit tough for you to get to prayers to Masjidil Haram because taxis, number one, are very expensive. You can, however, take the Makkah bus. Makkah bus has a very comprehensive route system throughout Azizia and throughout all the other areas within Masjid al-Haram vicinity in Makkah al-Mukarramah. You can take the Makkah bus, but keep in mind it's Hajj time, so it's gonna be packed, and it might not be that feasible, to be honest. Now taxis, there's a lot of good, mashallah, there's a lot of good people in Makkah who will actually, just for the blessings, for the sake of sadaqah jariyah, they will actually transport you from wherever you are to Masjidil Haram for free. They won't even ask you for anything. Alhamdulillah for those people. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continually bless them. I've met so many, and I've made a lot of friends that way, believe it or not, during my Hajj journey. But in case you do need to take a taxi, they're going to charge you quite a lot. And I'm not talking 50 riyals, 100 riyals. Depending if you're in Azizia to get to Masjidil Haram, you're looking at 200, 300, 400 riyals just to get there. There's a lot of price gouging. So it's something to keep in mind. Try to take Makkah bus if you can. But if you can't make it to Masjidil Haram, you don't want to sacrifice your prayers, right? So there's other masjids that you can go to in Azizia and perform your prayers there. So khair. Now let's talk about Mina. So as soon as you get to Mina, depends what class you're in. If you're in Al-Masaim, which is class C, that's, the more economical tents in Mina. The system is pretty much the same throughout, with of course variances to food depending on which country the pilgrims are from. Turkish tents will have different cuisines and vice versa. If you are in Al Masaim, I've become an expert on Al Masaim camps. So you're gonna get to Mina. You're going to, as soon as you arrive to the entry point, if you're in Al Raji, you're going to go to, whichever camp, 42, 40, 42, 41, et cetera, for Al Raji. From your bus, you're going to exit and walk right through the entrance. I've actually made a full documented video on this as well. I'll have that up in the top right corner as well. But they'll give you a number. And that number will be the one, will be your bed of where you're going to be sleeping. So make sure if you're a family, if you're a group, that you all are together, and you make sure you get those numbers consecutively, because you want to make sure that you guys are together, and you can keep all your belongings with, together as well. So they do have racks in the Mina tents where you can store your, carry-on luggage, things like that. And you probably will have to, because there's really no space. You can put maybe a backpack at the very edge, at the very end, where your feet are, of your mattress pad /bedding situation in Mina. But it's going to be very tough, to be honest, because the walkways are so narrow and somebody will be sleeping right across from you. So they need some space too, So, and especially like during nighttime, getting up for Fajr or stuff like that, you don't want people to trip over your baggage. So that's probably going to be something you're going to have to store up on those metal racks. So right outside of your Mina tent where you're sleeping, prayers are usually performed. So one thing to keep in mind is there's some areas where like there's no like roofing. So during the daytime, Zuhur, Asr, even Maghrib prayers is kind of in the direct sunlight. And bear in mind, this is Saudi heat we're talking about. So you will get scorched, standing there. So try to find the spots where there's shade when you're doing these prayers. One thing I want to mention is the restroom situation is really bad because there's a lot of pilgrims within these camps. So lines for restrooms can get very long. Lines for wudu can get very long. So just try to use your time effectively, try to keep like a 15-20 minute window open before azan so that you can perform your prayer, so that you can perform wudu and everything and get ready for prayer. So that's something to keep in mind. Breakfast, lunch, dinner situation is quite easy over there. They have a 24-hour system for like snacks, their Indomie noodles, pastries, fruits, things like that, yogurts, all that stuff. They won't have sodas, but they'll have like labban and juices and water and stuff like that available 24 hours. Sometimes they even have ice cream. You just have to be very quick because the ice cream runs out very quick in these Mina tents. And ice cream is super helpful in the heat. So it's something to keep in mind. They do restock every couple of hours, but there's been times, I kid you not, like there's also like a tea station where you can make chai, green tea, mint tea, things like that. And you're going to need that because, these things really do help out you, and it's super important to stay hydrated. But these things oftentimes run out. If you can stock up on a few extra water bottles, there's fridges actually within your Mina tents where you sleep too, and people will put their bottles there, juices there. They restock those fridges as well, but they tend to run out, and they're not very cold, to be honest. They just don't stay that cool. Try to stick water bottles, juices all the way at the back end of the fridge and let it stay there for a few hours so that it gets a little bit cool. I'm telling you, these are like pro tips because there's nothing more refreshing than like a cold juice, cold water in the desert heat. Tika, so we got that covered. One other thing I wanted to mention was be very proactive on the day on Yom Arafah. Be up early. If you want to sleep after Isha, go to sleep. Sometimes the buses will start leaving starting midnight, that night, So if I were you, I would just take a quick nap after Isha, have dinner and then take a quick nap. And then be ready by midnight, 1 a.m. to head to Arafat because you don't want to get late. It's better if you perform Fajr in Arafat. But in our case, we had to perform Fajr in Mina and then head because bus situation was pretty tough. So just try to be ready and stand at the entrance and wait there for the buses to come. You can ask the workers there. They'll have some idea. There's WhatsApp groups that you'll already be in based on your package, so they'll try to update you. But my past experience wasn't too great with those. It turned out the leaders were not really well informed, and fellow brothers and sisters had to kind of figure it out for our own, So it's just something to keep in mind. Try to just be prepared by midnight. Have all the stuff you need for Arafat. You're gonna come back to Mina, so you don't have to bring everything. You can leave some things behind at your bed because you will be back to this camp, after Yom Nahar. And after your stay in Muzdalifah that following night, you're going to be back in Mina anyways. So you don't need to bring everything. You don't need to panic. Just bring a backpack or something that you think with your most essential things that you need, Now, once you're in Arafat, the food situation is a little bit more different here. The food got delayed. They brought al-Baik for everybody, but it came in very late. So if you can, before you even get to Arafat, try to eat in Mina. Try to eat some of the snacks, whatever you can, because the food came very late for Class C. I mean, it came after Asr. So from whenever we left in Mina up until Asr, we did not have anything to eat. There was just snacks that you could eat. And snacks ran out pretty quick too, so, and you have to kind of just survive off of tea, tea and water and juices. That's about it. So try to eat something in Mina if you can. Bring some snacks with you because it will help out. Trust me. Now for Arafat, you can choose to go, leave your tent and walk to Jabal Rahmat, but it depends if you're with your family. If you're with elders, things like that, it might be a little bit tough. So you can also opt to stay in Arafat and perform the obligations and the rituals of Arafat within the tent, because nowadays scholars have approved that area is also consistent of the area of Arafat. So you don't need to actually walk to Jabal Rahmat. But if you prefer to actually do that, more than welcome to. If you can get the Masjid Nimra, alhamdulillah. But you have to be there super early. Like the moment you get to Arafat, drop your belongings like on your bed, whatever bed you get. It's usually first come first serve in Arafat. I don't think there was for us there was not like a ticket system or an assigned system. It was first come first serve. So if that's the case for you guys, just leave everything behind and head out right away. Bring water with you. They'll give you umbrellas and like the welcome kits that you get in Mina. So make sure you have the umbrellas with you. Your feet will burn too. So just make sure you have some water so you can drop water on your feet because during certain angles while you're walking, your umbrella will not be able to cover the sun fully and it will shine down on your feet and it will hurt a lot. So just something to keep in mind, But if you leave right away from Arafat, preferably right after Fajr, there's a very good chance that you can get to Masjid Nimra and probably even get inside, inshallah. So you make that niyyah and you can do it, inshallah. But I do want to warn you, it is very tough. And there's so many, mashallah, there's so many brothers and sisters there. So just keep that in mind. Now, once the obligations and the rituals of Arafat are completed, it's time to head to Muzdalifah. Now, we got super delayed. And the reason we got delayed, I'll tell you why. Because we had the UK brothers and sisters and the USA brothers and sisters all grouped up in our Arafat camp. And there's a huge confusion. Like USA and UK brothers were mixing each other and trying to get on the UK bus, and the UK brothers were trying to get on the US bus, and it was just a big mess. So we ended up leaving Arafat around midnight. It was really, really just very disorganized. But we made it to Muzdalifah, alhamdulillah. We were pretty late, so we didn't really have space. We ended up having like literally right where the bus stops on the road. That's where we had to basically lay our carpet and rest in Muzdalifah. And they hand out like food packages and things like that. So I remember that day we barely ate. We only ate during Asr, and then we got some food package in Muzdalifah, which only had a couple of snacks. So there's actual hot meals that you can get, but you have to try to get there early so that you can get it before it runs out, or else you'll be getting those snack packages and it's not really much. It's like fruits, cookies, things like that you'll get, along with liquids, of course. But you're gonna try to sleep, even if you can sleep for 20 minutes, half an hour in Muzdalifah in the open skies. Try your best to. Inshallah, may Allah grant you some sort of rest, some sort of sleep in Muzdalifah, inshallah. And then you're going to head back to Mina. Although it's preferred to go after Dhuhr to Jamarat to perform Rami on Yom Nahar, you can also opt to go right after Fajr once you get back to Mina if you prefer. The weather's a little bit better too, so it's a little bit easier to manage, and it's quite a distance. I mean, you're talking 3 to 4, maybe 5 kilometers each way from your tent if you're in Al-Masaim. If you're in Majar al-Khabsh, you're looking at much less distance walking, and that's a lot easier. But if you are in Al-Masaim, it's quite tough. One thing I want to mention about Mina camps, Masaim specifically, is there's general stores, believe it or not. You might think that you're just limited to what's available in your tent, but you can actually get out of your tent completely, walk around, and you'll see there's general stores everywhere. They're selling all kinds of things. So if your tent runs out, or if you want to get something else, you want to try to get some fresh food, some chai, things like that, step outside. They even have medicine and things like that. Now there's clinics in Mina tents as well. In each tent there's clinics, so like you don't really necessarily need to get medicine. And if you're not feeling well, you can have one of the physicians check you and provide you with some medicine, antibiotics, whatever the case is. But if you need painkillers, anything like that, any extra medicine, you can just opt to just walk out from Mina, from your Mina tent, and walk around, and you'll see. And I discovered this, believe it or not, like while I was walking to Jamarat, I just realized, wow, there's a lot of stores here that I didn't know about, because I originally thought that you just had to stay in your tent. You weren't supposed to get out, but that's not the case. You can leave and walk around, and you'll see there's a lot of stores and things like that. So super useful tip. That is a super, super useful tip. Now, generally you can leave Mina that same night. The buses will be available. They should be available. If they're not, then it's perhaps going to be the next day. Or you can choose to stay in Mina. You're going to shave your head as soon as you're back from Muzdalifah. You're going to shave your head and get out of Ihram and everything. But and then head for Jamarat if you prefer to go right after Fajr, or if you prefer to go after Dhuhr. And then you can opt to choose to go back to Makkah, to your hotel in Makkah. But you don't have to. You can stay in Mina for the next two more days, so that you can perform the obligations of Jamarat and perform Rami on day 2 and day 3 as well. I have a very detailed video on that as well. I try to make as many videos as I could during my Hajj journey. So you can click the video in the top right corner and you'll be able to see the process for Jamarat as well. And then once you're done, if you decide to stay in Mina for all 3 days, on the third day, once you're done with Jamarat, you will get transported via bus to Kudai bus parking. Usually that's the drop-off point in Makkah, is Kudai. And depending on like where your hotel is, you can take a taxi or there might be another bus, etc., etc. For us, we stayed in the clock tower, so we just ended up getting a taxi. And it cost us about 200 or so riyals from there. It's very close. It's only 1 or 2 kilometers from clock tower, so it's super close. And yeah, that's about it. You're going to perform tawaf in Masjid al-Haram, and then you're going to do one final Umrah. And you're basically done with Hajj. I really hope that this video was helpful. I try to drop as many hints and useful advice as I could that I remember. I remember quite a lot. But if you have any very specific type questions about Hajj, ask away. I'll try to answer them, so that inshallah your Hajj journey for 2024 and beyond will be with ease. But if this video is helpful, make sure to like this video, comment anything you like below, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon. Jazakallah khair. See you guys in the next video.